What's up everyone? In this video we have some really exciting updates related to our software. For those of you who don't know, here at StockedUp we do offer some premium trading tools and custom stock algorithms, and in this video we're going to cover some of our brand new updates to our software. So this video will be beneficial to people who are looking to sign up for the algorithm who might be curious in signing up, and it will also be helpful for people who already signed up and want a tutorial on how to fully use it and just use all of the features that it has to offer. So basically, if you already signed up for the custom stock algorithm, you will see that the first step in the instructions is to head to tradingview.com. Once you're there, you're going to want to make sure to create an account. Once you create an account, just email me your username to mike@stockedup.university. Remember, only do this if you signed up for the algorithm. So anyways, once you do that, you can just type in any stock symbol basically. So let's say I just did Apple, and then you click Launch Chart. So once you do that, you're going to see that you are now on a stock chart, and it's going to look pretty plain, or you might have a couple indicators on it. While navigating TradingView, sometimes you will see some like simple moving averages or like Bollinger Bands or something else on your chart. In order to like remove indicators if you wanted to, you might see like a little arrow in the top left up here. If you click that, you will have the ability to add or remove indicators. So like you just hover over and then you press X, and then it will remove whatever indicator is currently on your chart. TradingView is a really awesome platform. They have like apps for the phone and tablet, and it does work very, very great on computers too, and they have a bunch of features. I can't say enough great things about TradingView. But anyways, let's say you're looking to get the algorithm added to your chart. After you email me, I will reply to you saying, hey, you have access to the algorithm. Here's how to set it up. So basically what you want to do is you're going to want to go to indicators, and then you're going to want to go to invite only scripts. You're going to see a script that says stock algorithm trend analysis. You want to click that once, and only once, because if you click it multiple times, you are just going to add multiple layers or you're going to add the indicator to your chart multiple times, and it's just going to make the charts load slower, and it won't be as efficient, and it can cause some problems down the line when editing settings. So just make sure to click it once. You will know if you clicked it once just by looking at the top left. Like for example, if you click it multiple times, you're going to see stock algorithm trend analysis like 2 or 3 times. And if you do click it multiple times, it's okay. Just remove them so there's only one left. But basically, once you have it added, your chart might look something like this. So basically, our software has multiple different features, and actually before we get into that, I just want to go over a couple more basic things. You can use the algorithm for everything from stocks to futures to cryptocurrencies to a ton of other things. If you go to where like all the ticker symbols are in the top left and you just click it, you'll see like, just by looking at the stocks, all of the stocks you can add to your chart, all of the futures you can add to your chart, forex pairs, cryptocurrencies, indices, bonds, economic data. There is so much data available to analyze and use the algorithm on. So keep that in mind. Like, even though this algorithm was made for stocks, it doesn't mean you can't use it for, let's say, Bitcoin or anything else. So keep that in mind. Like, you could even use it for like gold futures if you wanted to. Like, you would just click gold futures and it will load up and it will work just like it would for stocks. But let's go back to the stock market for now. So once you are all set and you have a symbol plotted on your chart, you're going to want to click the little gears icon in the top left. If you don't see the gears icon, you probably just see some like blank space similar to what I'm seeing now. If that's the case, make sure to click the little drop down arrow, and that will show not only the StockedUp stock algorithm trend analysis algorithm, but it will also show any other indicators you have on your chart. For me, that would be volume, but I only have the stock algorithm plotted, so that's why we only see this. So basically, click the settings or the gears icon, and now you can see how you can configure this to however you want it. So basically right now, I only have the support and resistance lines plotted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so absolutely nothing is plotted, just so I can go step by step with what the algorithm has to offer. So we'll start off by, let's say we look at overbought and oversold labels. So I am going to check this, and now we can see the overbought and oversold labels now appear on the chart. This is extremely helpful, and it's one of my favorite aspects of the algorithm, because when stocks get too overbought or oversold, it just plots it right there, and it basically gives you a warning like, hey, this stock, there's a good chance it turns around. And of course, it's not 100% accurate, because there's nothing like that. But what's really, really cool about it, and very unique compared to other software out there, is that you can configure the sensitivity of this software to your liking. So for example, we can see there are a couple plots on the chart right now. We have some oversold readings, some overbought readings, and it's not like there's a ton of them, but there's a decent amount. So basically what you have the opportunity to do when you click the settings icon, you have this confidence level input right here. The higher you increase this to, the more selective the algorithm will be. So right now it's at 0, meaning that it's not too selective. But let's say you're a trader where you don't want to trade every single day or every single week, but when you do trade, you want to make sure it's like a really good setup. If that's the case, you would probably want to have a confidence level a little bit higher than 0. So maybe you increase it to 1 or 2 or 3, depending on how crazy the stock is. So we can see that I increased the confidence level to 1, and that actually none of these readings were a great, amazing setup. The only time that Apple was truly oversold was when it was around $61, which of course ended up being an amazing buying opportunity. But one thing to really keep in mind is that the sensitivity of the algorithm really depends on the stock. For example, let's say we look at ORCL. So I'm going to put the confidence level back to 0. So ORCL, we click ORCL, and we can see for the most part, it works really, really good. We can see when it's oversold, the stock has a very strong history of popping up shortly after. We can see there was an oversold reading on February 24th. Next thing you know, stock popped up. Another oversold reading on May 19th, stock popped up. Another oversold reading on June 13th, stock popped up. We have the overbought readings. Stock basically sank right down. This was a failed one right here, I guess you could say, when we had a couple overbought readings and the stock just went flat. You could say there were even a couple over here too, but for the most part, it does really, really good. If you ever wanted it to be more selective, you just increase the confidence level, and then the algorithm will only select the best of the best signals. So we can see an amazing signal was right here when it signaled ORCL was overbought on December 13th. That was an amazing signal. I literally couldn't have asked for a better one. Same thing with ORCL on March 10th. Amazing signal. And then even better right here, ORCL buying opportunity when it was around 45, and the next thing you know, it goes to like $50 just a couple weeks later. So no, just a couple days later, sorry. But one really, really important thing to keep in mind while using the overbought and oversold labels in the sensitivity with them is that it depends on the stock you're looking at. For example, Coca-Cola, it's a boring stock. You don't see crazy moves with it. So realistically, you probably don't have to tune the confidence level too much. However, if you're looking at a stock like, let's say, AMC or NOK, just like some crazy volatile stock, odds are you will have to mess around with the sensitivity more. Sometimes, like let's say we go to NOK with a confidence level of 0, there are a decent amount of overbought and oversold signals here. That's not a bad thing. But the most important thing to know is that when you are trading these volatile stocks, the ones that are really crazy, you are going to see them get overbought and oversold more often. So just keep that in mind, that you might have to mess with the input a little bit more to tune it so you have a nice balance of accuracy and quantity of alerts. So basically, a stock like Coca-Cola, it doesn't move in crazy ways too much. So like you don't really have to mess with it too much in terms of the input. But when you have a crazy stock like NOK or AMC or any other hype stock, consider adjusting the confidence level because it will be more accurate, just like I did with NOK here. Basically, when the confidence level is 0, it works really good, but there are a lot of alerts, and not every single one works. But when we boost that confidence level to 1 or even higher, the alerts get much more accurate. So keep that in mind. And then another thing I want to showcase is the support and resistance, which is probably my second favorite feature. So basically, you want to click in the settings right here, top left. You want to see the support and resistance lines. To enable it, you just uncheck the support and resistance lines box and press OK. Now we can see support and resistance. Actually, let's go to Apple. So you can see support and resistance for the stock plotted for you completely automatically. It doesn't get every single support and resistance because in certain ways support and resistance can be subjective, but it does a very good job at plotting it. So we can see it plotted support right here, right around that perfect support line, right around like 129. So that was great. We do have another support level right around 138 to 138.50, which was a huge bounce level in the past. So I'll just get the brush right here. Oops. Actually, I don't want to use that. Let me use the highlighter. We can see giant support level right here, giant support level right here. There was some resistance right around 150 in the past, right around here, and all over here. So basically, the support and resistance feature plots support and resistance lines. Obviously, does a pretty good job at it, and it works for any time frame. So right now I'm on the daily chart, but let's say you want to go to a 5-minute chart to day trade. It also does that, and it's completely automatic. So it's actually really awesome. So it's my second favorite feature. Honestly, there's not too much to explain with this one, just because it's support and resistance. So yeah, keep that in mind. With the next thing, or the next two things, they kind of work hand in hand. So I'm going to remove the support and resistance aspect right now. And basically this next part is to do with like momentum trading or with like following the trend. So basically we have prediction clouds. So you want to check them. And then we also have likely labels, which tells you what the stock is likely to do in the short term over the next like 2 to 5 bars. So you want to select both the prediction clouds and the likely labels because, like I said, they basically go hand in hand. So once you select both of those, you are going to see these red and green clouds on your chart. Basically what it does is it follows the trend and shows you where the current momentum is with the stock, and it tells you what this stock is likely to do over the next like 2 to 5 bars or so, right here where it says likely to rise or likely to fall. One thing to keep in mind is that this is a momentum based feature. So when you're in very, very choppy, I guess you could say instances or choppy markets, this is not ideal. This is best for when like there's a lot of momentum flowing either to the upside or the downside. And you can tell that there's a lot of momentum flowing to the upside or the downside, mainly due to the length of the clouds. For example, we can see like right here from March 17th to March 31st, that cloud lasted a couple weeks. There was a lot of momentum flowing. The stock was moving in a big way, and overall the market was blasting up. But when you have instances where it's like right here, where like the green cloud only lasts for like a couple days, it's not an ideal setup. So basically what this does, it also works on any time frame. Let's say we go to a 5-minute chart. It will load up in a couple seconds, and whenever you just see a lot of momentum, this is a great trend following tool. So again, there's not really too much to explain with this. It mainly focuses on like the next 2 to 5 bars, like I said. The way I love to use this software is the overbought and oversold, and then the support and resistance aspect of it. So if we go to like a daily chart and we go to, let's say, back to Apple, I think it is extremely, extremely useful to have these overbought and oversold ratings just like right in front of you like that. And on top of that, to have support and resistance automatically plotted for you almost instantly is a very, very helpful tool. Another thing that's a bonus that I didn't even talk about yet is this table in the top right. This is Actually, this might be my second or third favorite feature. But basically what you can do, and also before I explain how this table works, you can also pick wherever you want the table to be located. So right now I have it in the top right, but if you want to, you can have it in the middle of the right of the screen, or if you want it even lower, you can go in the bottom right. I prefer to have it in the top right, but you can do it however you choose. So I'm going to go top right. Basically what it shows you is the current correlation to the stock you are looking at versus the S&P 500, and you can compare it to any other stock. So right now, basically I'm looking at Apple compared to the S&P 500, which is the SPY ETF right now. We can see that it has a moderate correlation to the SPY, and that is shown by 0.64. So, for the most part, it moves with the SPY, but not always. And also this data is looking at the past years worth of data. It also shows you today's move, which is around 1.22% on Apple. And on top of that, which is very useful, it shows you how much on average does Apple rise when it rises, and how much on average does Apple fall when it falls. So basically the average green day for Apple is 1.25%, which is very close to what we're seeing now, and the average red day for Apple is around minus 1.35%, which is interesting. We can see, and then on top of that, it shows you how many green days Apple has had over the past year and how many red days Apple has had over the past year in percentage form. So what's very interesting for Apple is that even though there's been a lot of selling pressure in the market lately, Apple actually closes green around 52% of the time, but when it closes green, on average, it closes at a lower percentage, if that makes sense. So for example, it closes green 52.38% of the time, but when it closes green, it only is up on average by 1.26%, versus when it's down by 1.35%. So it's just interesting, and what's really cool is that you can configure how far you go back in terms of days. There are basically 252 trading days in a year, so that's why you see the look back period at 252. But let's say you only wanted to look back at the past, 75 trading days. You just type in 75, press OK, and watch how these numbers will adjust within seconds. We can see that over the past 75 trading days, Apple actually has a very strong correlation to the SPY, coming in at around 0.96. And we can see how the average rises and drops adjust accordingly in the green days and the red days. And what's even cooler is, let's say you're like, you know what, I don't really care how Apple's doing relative to SPY. I want to know how Apple is doing relative to, let's say, Coca-Cola. So you go back to the settings icon, and then where it says correlation ticker, you click that, and then you just make sure you have all selected, and then you just type in whatever you want. So I'll do Coca-Cola, and I will click Coca-Cola, and again, within seconds, we can see how Apple is correlated to Coca-Cola over the past 75 trading days. If I want to adjust it to whatever, let's say I go back to a year, which is 252 trading days, press OK, we will see how the correlation adjusts, which adjusted quite a bit. So it's very interesting. This tool is really awesome. I've been using it a ton, and I've been loving it. Personally, I love to use support and resistance and the overbought and oversold features. I always love to adjust the confidence levels for the stock. I like a nice balance between quantity of alerts and accuracy. So for example, instead of just and this is just my personal preference, and this is why I coded it so you can configure it to how you like it. But basically, if you have a chart where there's just a million alerts on there, it's obviously in all software, not every single alert will win, but I prefer to have a little bit fewer alerts. But when the alerts do happen, I like a higher accuracy level. And basically, just the main thing to know is that the higher you go with this confidence level, the more accurate the software will be, which is very awesome in my opinion. So overall, it's pretty awesome. If you think you want to try out the software, check out the first link in the description and the comments down below if you haven't already. Another thing that holds true for all StockedUp products is that here at StockedUp, basically, we always work our butts off behind the scenes. So when you do decide to sign up for one of our products, basically we constantly update it over time, and all of those updates are free. So we had people who signed up for our stock algorithm years ago that only had a couple of the features that it currently has now, and basically they're getting these updates that we're currently seeing in this video completely for free. In addition to that, the prices for our software does increase over time, but if you do decide to sign up, you are grandfathered in for life. So if you sign up today and the price rises to double the price in a couple of years from now, you will never pay more than what you paid. So in a way, our software kind of acts as an investment. You get more and more features over time, and you're locked in. So I hope you guys learned something from this video. The software is really amazing. I love it. It took a lot of time to add these new features in, but I think it was well worth it considering all of the new features and all the new opportunities that we have in this market. So if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to check out that first link in the description and the comments down below if you have not signed up. But besides that, thank you guys so much for watching.